Hi-yo Combat fans, this is Neff coming to you live from the Super Monday Night Combat Arena with Super Monday Night Tuesdays, episode 14, brand new microphone edition. Actually, this week we're going to take a look at Cheston and some Cheston gameplay along with a couple tips and tricks, and we'll also talk about the latest patch, what little there is to talk about it, but first I wanted to get a couple housekeeping things out of the way. Lately, for the last 2 weeks, we've been giving away some SMNC gear as prizes. We gave away Battle Damage Cardboard Tube Samurai and a Sniper packs, and this week I wanted to try something a little bit different. I have a bunch of beta keys laying around, and I have one for Firefall that I wanted to give away. So this week, if you happen to be one of my subscribers, by next Monday around 6 p.m. I will draw and see who wins the Firefall beta key. I'll just need to send you a message and get your email so that I can send you the key if you win. So I will be in touch if you're a winner. Upcoming this weekend on the 25th is the Guild Wars 2 Head Start, so I know that I'm going to be playing the heck out of this game, as I'm sure a lot of you are too. Even though it's not a shooter, it's a pretty great looking game. It's lots of fun from the beta. So I'll be taking a week or two off, but I will be back after that. My goal is to maybe get some videos done ahead of time, so I don't necessarily have to do that, but it's just a possibility, and that's why. During Guild Wars 2 though, I will be streaming for quite some time because I took some time off from work, so hopefully I'm going to get to 80 within the first 11 days or so is my goal, but I'm not 100% sure on that. So anyway, moving on, Cheston, he's got a Tommy gun, he's got bananas, he's got a family jewel pimp cane to slap people around with. It's pretty awesome all around. Endo-wise, your best bet endorsement-wise is to run skill regen and rate of fire because those are going to benefit him the most. He's going to get basically a 10% flat damage boost off the rate of fire from his family jewel, and also he'll get some more bullets out faster, so that also adds up to more DPS too. Granted, you need to be able to hit people with your gun. And then skill regen is going to benefit him all around. He already has a big magazine size. He doesn't need anything like that. His health's pretty high because he's an enforcer. You might want to throw some endorsements on there maybe to counteract the negative effects that you might get from the endos leading up to skill regen and max rate of fire. But outside of that, you don't necessarily have to stack anything else. It's just going to give him the weakness and not very much benefit out of it, but whatever floats your boat. Anyway, so on to products. Jumpy Spunky is certainly great. I love to use it on Cheston because he is able to, in my opinion, I can get juice more often than with other pros for less money because damage leads to, or taking damage leads to building juice. Cheston's got that small built-in heal off of Roar, so I feel like I can take a little bit more damage and build up juice a little bit faster. Plus the fact that you're an enforcer, you can take more damage. Pretty sure juice building is set up around that as well already though. So also with products, any of the magnets, you can always run those if you're lazy like I am sometimes. Over armor's okay on Cheston, although he doesn't necessarily need the defense that much. I like can't slow this to keep up the maneuverability. Jumpy Spunky, I already mentioned that. Spunky Juicy is great. Critically late. Almost anything works on Cheston that's a decent product. You're not necessarily locked into certain things like you might be on other pros. I guess you could run Massive Air if you wanted to. I don't tend to run it on Cheston, although I run it on quite a few of my pros. So Cheston's primary weapon, he's got the Tommy gun. It's going to increase, or decrease in accuracy, I should say, increase in reticle size as you hold down the fire button. So you just want to kind of tap it as you fire. Once the reticle gets kind of bigger than your target is when you're going to want to let it go down. There's not necessarily, you know, a certain number of shots that might be. It kind of just depends on how fast you're tapping the mouse and how long you hold it down for how many intervals and stuff like that. But it's really not a big deal that the accuracy changes. It's pretty easy to keep it pretty accurate. And when you choose, it's pretty close to just having a long-range sniper as long as you just tap your you tap your fire button instead of like holding it down. So the secondary on the Tommy gun is the banana, which will stun or slip enemies up for half a second. It will also break grapples, and it will knock the assault out of the air while he's flying around. So you can see bananas on the ground on my side and the enemy side from both me and the Cheston throwing them. Just got hit by the ejector. You always want to watch out for those. I knew it was there, which is why I was staying in the position I was, because I knew it would knock me backwards instead of off to the side. And also, I was heading actually backwards to avoid it altogether, but clearly I got hit anyway. So Juice saved my butt there, thanks to some quick healing. I also did a video this week that's not necessarily my best play, but it also has some people from the forums, because I just thought it would be interesting to see some familiar faces up on the screen.
Don't look now, Chip, but the Annihilator is online and ready for
Going for the Annihilator now. You always want to lock it down early. So you can see Cheston's secondary here is that Family Jewel Pimp Cane. Slaps people around with it. It's got a grapple for its alt fire. And you can also do the combat roll by hitting reload. You can hear me die there because I have the voice chat on. So one thing that you can do too is when I rolled, I hit that jump pad and it knocks me into the laser blazer, which is pretty stupid on my part, but also just partly the wacky physics in the game. So you can Rampage and use the Family Jewel. So the deal with when you use a melee weapon in Super Monday Night Combat is that it does 2 swings when you swing it and deal damage. But actually, as long as it does the animation for the first swing, then the damage for the second swing will happen automatically. So if you swing your Family Jewel, Rampage, and then swing, go back to using your Family Jewel, just kind of alternate between those two, you can make it so that you're only swinging once, dealing Rampage damage during the timing of the second swing, while the second swing's damage has gone through already because you did the first swing, and then you're switching back to your Family Jewel to hit them again. I don't do that in this match just because it doesn't work out for me, and I don't usually play Cheston, so this is one of like 2 matches I played as Cheston this week. So that's just a great thing you can do with Cheston and the Rampage plus Family Jewel because it does pretty devastating damage to people. So Barrel is Cheston's first skill, and you just want to spam it all the time. You can see most of the time when I have it off cooldown, I'm throwing Barrel. I just threw it right there a second ago. It does great damage against bots, which, believe it or not, Cheston is actually a great slayer of bots. You might be surprised because, you know, it doesn't seem like he would be necessarily, but he definitely kills a ton of bots, so you can easily get over 150 bot kills or more per round. So yeah, between the Tommy Gun, Family Jewel, and Spam and Barrel the whole time, you can just rack up a ton of bot kills all around. All the more reason to maybe bring Bot Buster as an endorsement, or a product rather, but it's not what I personally like to run. So you've probably seen it a few times. I use for Cheston's Q to heal people, yourself included, and to get a speed boost. It's a pretty small heal, especially at first. So when leveling, I personally level that skill last, but other people have different tastes. Maybe they'll feel free to comment on it in the comment section below. Speaking of which, my leveling order, I prefer offense as my primary. Then I'm going to go with Barrel as my next skill. Then defense, Rampage, Roar in that order. So at level 3, I'm not going to use a skill point. At level 4, I'm going to put one in Barrel and offense so that I can get them both to 3 as soon as possible. Level 8, do the same thing so you get both Barrel and offense to level 4 right away. I don't level like that in this match. That's just because, number one, I don't play a ton of Cheston, so I go with the skills right away because I want to have their benefit because I'm not used to playing as them, so I don't want to miss out on having skill. And you know I love bouncers. Got me that grapple kill right there all day, every day. I mean, against really experienced players, I'll admit they're not the best thing in the world, but I love them. Original MNC, and I'm going to take out this turret with the Family Jewel here. Gotta love Cheston's ability to get in and out between the combat roll and then the Rampage jump, which I'll talk about in a second. He definitely has the highest maneuverability besides the Veteran out of all the Enforcers. So yeah, Roar, like I was saying earlier, gives you some health back, gives everyone a speed boost. You can see I just used it a second ago there. It's not a ton of health, but it is a nice benefit to have, and it lets you take more damage so you can juice, and it lets you stay on the field of combat, maybe pick up a Regenitol when you might not have been able to, so it's a great skill. I prefer it mainly for the speed boost, believe it or not really the health, because it just adds to Cheston's maneuverability that much more. but it's a good skill all around, even though I level it less. Rampage is going to be a skill that lets you hop around on all fours, kind of, jump around like a monkey, and you'll do like an AoE pulse of damage around you as well as knockback, so you can use that to ring enemies out. Probably the #1 use across all players is on the Annihilator to push people off of it who might be activating it. And then also you can use it for damage, like I said, if you use it in combination with the Family Jewel by alternating between the two weapons. Here you can see where Cheston's maneuverability saves my butt. It lets me get out of there extremely easily. That was a Rampage jump there. So you do that by hitting Rampage, or by jumping, tapping Rampage. When you kind of hit the ground, you deactivate it. Some people are really good at Rampage jumping, so they can string at least 4 Rampage jumps together right in a row. And it looks like Cheston's just fluidly going through this monkey jump. I am not that good, admittedly, at doing Rampage jumping, so you'll only see me do it maybe 1-2 times in a row. Sometimes I can do the 4 times in a row, but inevitably at least one of my Rampage jumps is kind of like stuttered, and it's not as fluid as the people that are really, really pro at doing it. You can see mobility saves Cheston a lot when I play stupid sometimes. So Cheston, great enforcer. I don't play him for, you know, the fact that, you know, any deficits that he has or anything like that. He's just not one of my preferred pros. But his damage is probably maybe only 10% less than Gunner. And he has 10 times the mobility that Gunner, you know, doesn't have at all. So he's a pretty amazing enforcer all around. If you want to learn enforcer, he's not bad to get started with either, because you can afford to wind up in riskier situations and be able to get out quite easily, you know. Against more experienced players, you know, you'll have a harder time getting out, but that's going to be the case all around. Get the Annihilator if you can. Oh, never mind, we're already getting it. Run, don't die. So no matter how much you're winning or how late in the match it is, I like to make sure I get the Annihilator. It's a good habit, I guess. But there are definitely times that you don't necessarily want to go for it. Sometimes early game I'll just push a lane instead because I know I'm going to take the turret down. And they're not going to have any bots left to push anyway. So there's strategies that don't require the Annihilator at all. But it's a huge bonus for your team, obviously. Anyway, moving on to the latest patch. Got a bunch of blitz changes that make it easier to get past round 60. And we also saw a bunch of blitz uniforms come out, so those were some nice changes. And some updates. I know a bunch of people at Uber were on vacation and stuff, and not every patch is going to be like, oh my god, we added a whole new game mode. So, I don't know how I feel about balance changes even at this point, because I actually think pros are pretty freaking balanced. There might be like a couple tweaks I'd make here and there, and I never thought I would say this about many games, but I think everything's pretty balanced between all the pros. Gunslinger, personally, I think is OP due to trigger happy and extremely high player skill. So if you're really good and you can land headshots, all you do is trigger happy and you're gonna kill somebody pretty much, guaranteed. That's been my experience anyway. I know I'm not the best, so there may be people out there able to escape that tragedy, but I've heard plenty of people way better than me complain about the same thing, so it's probably not just me. I think that's the thing I have the biggest problem with at this point in game is just sharpshooters. Snipers don't bother me as much, just because they're not able to get off like 4 headshots basically really rapidly. Also, all the characters are kind of similar heights in this game. Their head box is kind of, you know, they're pretty similar between characters. So it's a little bit easier to score headshots in this game too, from my understanding. Though I'm not the best at it by far. So here we're just finishing things up. We're just killing bots, making sure the enemies don't get out. It's pretty one-sided at this point. Although these people were the same people that actually beat me in the round before. Maybe a couple players changed, but people talking shit are the same. Cheston, no more. Thanks. This is going to be a stupid death just because we were stomping all over them. I was overconfident. You saw I was up there by myself. Don't ever do that if you really care about winning or staying alive. Don't be caught by yourself. It's pretty important to stick with your teammates unless you're a commander or striker. I mean, there's always going to be some exceptions. But you want to know where your team is all the time and stick close to them. And always be killing bots. A lot of players tend to forget about that and focus on like deathmatch style, going for kills. And if the enemy is a lot more focused on bots than you, they can still get less kills and beat you because they're going to overlevel you in the early game, and then you're kind of screwed. A 2-level difference in this game is pretty ridiculous. I mean, you can still score kills, but I find in League of Legends, for example, or Smite, I guess is what I've been playing the most of, it's a lot easier to kill those players even with a 2-level advantage. I mean, it's a pretty significant advantage either way, but I feel like it's even worse in this game sometimes. I don't feel like I have much hope against a player that's 2 levels higher than me unless my team somehow is going to gangbang grapple them. And let's be real, what are the odds of that happening if that player was able to get 2 levels over or more over everybody on my team? The odds of my team taking that player out, especially in any kind of coordinated fashion when I'm solo queuing or something like that, is not very high.
Icemen go cold turkey on defense. Their money ball is down.
So there's a lot of talk about removing passive leveling amongst players, not amongst, you know, anyone from Uber or anything like that. About removing the passive leveling benefits and just leaving the offense and defense skills. I mean, I don't know how I feel about that. I would like to see it, you know, just so we could see it and try it and play test it. But, you know, it doesn't seem very likely at this point. It seems like a pretty big game mechanic to just up and yank out. Although, you know, for just for the better of the game, this would be it, I guess. But who knows? They might have already play tested it for all we know. And decided they prefer it this way. When I first got into beta, the lethality was much lower. I want to say it's like quadrupled almost. So thanks for tuning in, guys. Subscribe for a chance to win a Firefall beta key. You can add me on Steam, follow me on Twitter to get some video game news, add me on Steam to get some games in. You can check out my live stream. I'm streaming a couple times a week, except I missed a week. Big thanks to FPSGuru.com, MMORPG.com, and RTSGuru.com, and I think also UnboundGamer.com. Check out those sites. They're great sites. They have awesome forums and lots of beta keys. Gotta love my treasure ball troll there, and I look forward to seeing you all on the field of combat.